On the news, despite court order, labor unions embark on nationwide strike on Tuesday. Presidency reacts to NLC-TUC strike, says action unwarranted attempt to blackmail federal government. And CBN report shows Nigerians borrow 290 billion naira from banks in 3 months. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I'm Simisola Ajigun. Despite a court order restraining the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and Trade Union Congress (TUC) from staging any strike action, both unions have proceeded with their actions planned nationwide strike on Tuesday. According to leaders of both labour unions, in response to the impasse with the Imo State government and the assault of the NLC President Joe Ajaero in Imo State. In Lagos, however, compliance level was quite low as workers and traders were seen going about their regular business. TV360's correspondent Sydney Okafo, who monitored the situation, has details.
The decision to commence a nationwide strike came at the end of a joint National Executive Council NEC meeting of the NLC and TUC in Abuja on Monday, November 13. Last week, labor unions had issued a final notice to all affiliates and state councils to prepare for a total nationwide shutdown following unmet demands in the aftermath of the assault on the NLC National President Joe Ajaero in Imo State. The nationwide strike commenced on Tuesday as planned, although with partial compliance from Lagos State workers as offices remain open for normal activities.
NLC president was beaten. So imagine the level of humiliation. He was beaten in Imo State, and the state government, the federal government, couldn't do anything about it. You know, it is dehumaning. It's not nice at all. So I think the strike should at least be enforced to show them that we are serious about what we're talking about and the rest. So
the strike is not called for. To me, I don't see the reason why should be a strike anywhere. To me now, I see it as a political something because of a single person.
Train services were, however, suspended across the country in compliance with the nationwide strike, leaving passengers stranded.
Obviously, I came here to book a flight, as you can see, a ticket for train, as you can see. So now, you see, there are some people over there now coming to book tickets. You can see, and you see all my stuff coming all the way down from Ikorodu. I know how much I spent for Uber. So now I have to go to the public bus that I'm trying to escape.
Speaking on the ongoing strike between organized labor and the federal government, a professor at the University of Ibadan urged both parties to tread with caution.
Everything should be settled amicably. If you are doing everything fire for fire, our nation cannot head anywhere. So I just want to appeal to the labor union. What really happened in Imo is very, very unfortunate. I'm going to Imo now for NUC accreditation. We are going to accredit their program. If this one extends to that place, it will affect the graduation of our young Nigerians.
Amid all of this, the Minister of Labour, Employment and Productivity, Simon Lalong, has convened an emergency meeting with the labour leaders to reach a resolution to the issue. Sydney Okafo, TV360 News, Lagos.
In Abuja, the situation is similar as there was partial compliance to the strike action embarked upon by labor unions in the country. On Tuesday, workers were seen in their numbers and offices open for normal activities as residents questioned the motive for the strike action. Our correspondent Emeka Amako filed this report.
Organized labor had earlier called on workers across the country to down tools at midnight as their standoff with the Imo State government takes a national undertone. The directive was met with mixed reaction from workers in Abuja. Compliance level was far from what the unions would have wished for, as residents explained that the timing and rationale behind the strike is questionable at best.
It is unfortunate and Nigerians are very gullible for me to go on strike because Ajaero was beaten in Imo State. The strikes will have been in Imo State. That will appeal to people's mind a little bit. To mobilize the entire country to go on strike because Ajero was beaten, not even on the basis of a national problem.
The nature of our work is pay as you go. If you don't go out a day, you can't eat. Now we are out. Suddenly we're told by the 12 midnight that there will be what you call it, a strike. It doesn't make sense. And I don't think it's the right time.
Except if they have genuine reasons while the strike is ongoing. But if it's for the assault on the president, I think it's not too good at the moment. The country, we're trying to see how we can get things, moving. Look at the issue of the forex. Dollar is really rising. It's not stable. So many issues. Insecurity is still with us. So I don't think the reason they are going on strike is really right at the moment.
A visit to some government establishments like the Radio House and the Center for Arts and Culture showed that workers complied. Some union leaders who spoke to TV360 crew expressed satisfaction with the adherence to the directive, just as they dispelled rumors that the strike was necessitated by the assault on NLC President Joe Ajero in Owerri, Imo State.
All we just ask is for the government to do the needful as well, so that there will be peace in this nation. Nigerians deserve better, and that's the only thing the trade union, the TUC and NLC is asking for. Nigerian workers deserve a better welfare. Nigerian workers deserve to live well.
This strike has nothing to do with what happened in Imo State, and even if it does, at least if we don't come out to protest, to show the government that this thing that happened, if we don't talk, it will continue to happen.
President of the National Industrial Court, Justice Benedict Kanyib, had issued a restraining order on the Nigerian Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, as well as their affiliates from embarking on any strike, citing the likelihood of a breach of peace and tranquility in the country. There is a question of contempt of court which is begging for answers as the NLC continues to defy a judicial order just to show their grievance over the assault on their president.
Well, let's discuss the presidency has described the insistence of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria TUC to proceed with the proposed nationwide strike as unwarranted following a restraining order issued last week by Justice Benedict Kanyib of the National Industrial Court. Special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, in a statement expressed dismay that the strike was proceeded upon despite a restriction order by the National Industrial Court. He accused the unions of trying to blackmail the government and punish a whole country of over 200 million people over a personal matter. Ononuga added that the planned strike is a flagrant disobedience to court order and a lack of respect for the judiciary. And let's discuss this strike action by labor unions around the country further. Political affairs analyst Victor Okai joins me on the news. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Mr. Victor Okai. Now, despite a national industrial judgment stopping the NLC from going on a strike, we have seen them ignoring these instructions. Now, can this action encourage dialogue?
Thank you very much. I think that this action will actually force dialogue, not just encourage. And the reason is simply this. It looks like in the past couple of years, we have governments that don't listen anymore and have no respect for the rule of law. In cases where you see people being thrown into jail, where they should be they should be bailed within 24 hours, they're kept there for months. The government cannot, on the one hand, expect compliance, whereas they do not comply. And this has been the problem. So much impunity in the land led by the government. What happened in Imo, which is not even the main reason for the strike, but could be an immediate cause for, making the strike more urgent, these are things that happen every day. We heard from different people, but we also heard from labor leaders who have said that the strike has nothing to do, or is not necessarily about what happened in Imo. But let's, for the sake of argument, say yes, it is about Imo. What it simply says is this, that if somebody of that level, the leader of the Nigerian Labour Congress, can be so beaten and dealt with the way he was. And then it's like nobody, the federal government did not even deem it fit to apologize. The state government did not deem it fit to apologize. And he was beaten like a common criminal. If they get away with it, a man at that level, then what hope is there for the rest of us? This fight is not just about Ajero. This fight is about the rest of Nigerians. The impunity of people in government, especially at the executive level, has gone on for so long, and it's too much. I think it is time, because if this strike goes through, the next time, people will think twice before doing what they did to Ajero, and hopefully doing the same to the rest of us. So as an individual, I think if this is what it takes to bring government to the table, to listen to every other thing, it is correct. With the issue of the industrial court, why do they expect, does the government even respect court orders? I don't think they do. I'm not advocating that we should ignore the judiciary, but even the judiciary itself has lent itself to ridicule, especially in recent times, by the kind of pronouncement that they make. They have been used, in the past, even when labor has legitimate reason to go to on strike and all that, the government has procured, spurious court orders to stop them from doing what is a legitimate right. So I think that if this is what it takes to make government sit down, listen, and talk not just about the Ajero issue, but about the economy generally, and the fact that Nigerians are suffering and that labor
shortly, briefly now, are strike actions still effective in addressing labor disputes in Nigeria?
Strikes? I ask you, strikes are still effective? Well, they have not been as effective as they have been in the past because of the fact that even government does not respect. Government has tried to break through the ranks of labor. A situation where you find, like in Imo State, for instance, which is part of the reason why Ajero was there, 31 months, civil servants have not been paid salaries. Who does that? In what economy? What impunity? And so even the strikes, you find a situation where government will use the media and its agents to blackmail. As you heard in your report, they are blackmailing labor. Labor represents the interests of the people. They cannot be seen as sabotaging when they are fighting for the interests of workers. If it's a selfish interest, you may say so. But a case where people have not been paid salaries for 31 months, and you see politicians buying cars and doing all sorts of things, I don't think so. Strikes have been rendered almost useless because of the way government has infiltrated and they keep blackmailing labor. What is a legitimate tool for conflict resolution is now being treated as sabotage and as
political affairs analyst Victor Ohai. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Moving on, a coalition of political parties have rejected the process and the result of Saturday's governorship election in Imo State. The coalition is made up of some of the parties who walked out of the coalition and refused to sign the result, which declared incumbent Hope Uzodinma of the All Progressives Congress APC as governor. In a joint address in Owerri, they labeled the polls and its collation by Professor Bayomi Fashino a sham that should not be allowed to stand.
We know that the chairman of INEC will not be happy when he sees what is happening in Imo. And Imo people will not be happy that you people are coming here to handpick or decide the election for them. We should allow Imo people to take a decision. We now told them, according to the INEC rules, there is a window, a 7 days window, where INEC can stop the collation and go and verify these things and come back and continue collation. All those areas where there is a wrong posting of result, that those places will be discounted, because we also reminded them that it was done in Abia State, where the honorable woman in Abia stopped collation of result and went back to confirm and verify that the result he's going to collect and accept are in conformity with accreditation. That was done. We told them. But they were in Imo to do the job they were paid to do. And that was how, At the end of the day, when we now went to go and complain, again, when they presented also, where no election took place, that was when they started talks. Who are not members, they are not party agents, they are not members of the press, they are not observers. I saw people come into that hall wearing security tag. Members of APC came into the hall. They are not agents of the party. How do they gain entrance into the collation center? Are they working with the INEC in Imo that gave them the opportunity to come into that question is for INEC Imo State to answer Nigerians.
Well, the election in Imo State keeps drawing various reactions from various quarters. Earlier on, we spoke to good governance advocate Chibundo Uchegbu in Imo State about the just concluded governorship election. I began by asking him if the tense atmosphere before the election had any impact on the outcome.
For the election, meanwhile, our people were ready and enthusiastic to hit the polls, to cast their vote and elect their leaders, their governor for the next 4 years. Now, there were threats, not just a threat, there were threats. The threats showing that, you know how polarized Imo State is, and Imo State is the southeast, that some people, non-state actors, they made it a position that any person who comes out to vote will lose his life, and it became a threat. That is one. Secondly, another threat was the loss of confidence in INEC. Then the last threat is from security agencies, not just police as an institution, civil defense or army as an institution, but some personnel, terrible personnel in these institutions. Some of them compromised the standard of clean electoral process in February and March elections, and some of them have not been polling, not just some of them. So these were the threats.
The opposition, especially the candidates of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Labour Party at a joint conference on Monday had called for the cancellation of the results because of manipulation of the outcome. Now, as an observer, do you agree with this?
You know, there are many steps to this. Yes, that's opposition parties. Yeah, they are not all of them anyway, because the youth behind this somehow, they even congratulated the governor who is going to serve for another term. Some opposition candidates that congratulated, they have even pledged to work with him. Then some are people aggrieved that the exercise should be cancelled because it lacks credibility test, it lacks transparency test. Yeah, those are their decisions. I know INEC will not do such cancellation. The only process of whom the left for them is to approach litigation or use litigation, approach a constitutional court or approach tribunal. If the arguments have merits, they will be declared or election will be notified. But INEC lacks the capacity now, since INEC is like official in law. The moment declaration is made, there will be no cancellation again. So the exercise will not be cancelled. And even if the exercise is cancelled, I don't think the people are willing. Record them low turnout, yes. But if it's cancelled, another exercise is declared within 90 days, as the case may be, we are going to record another or more low turnout of voters.
Well, that was Chibundo Uchegbu, good governance advocate, speaking on the outcome of the governorship election in Imo State. We'll take a short break here, but still to come, Obasoge replaces Okoye for Lesotho Zimbabwe World Cup qualifier games. Stay with us. News Now will return shortly. Welcome back. Let's take you through our top stories. Despite a court order restraining the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) from staging any form of strike, both unions have proceeded with their planned nationwide strike action on Tuesday. According to leaders of both labour unions, it is in response to the impasse with the Imo State government and the assault of the NLC President Joe Ajaero. In Lagos and Abuja, however, compliance level was low as workers and traders were seen going about their regular businesses. We also told you that the presidency has described the insistence of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) to proceed with the proposed nationwide strike as unwarranted, following a restraining order issued last week by Justice Benedict Kanyep of the National Industrial Court. Special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, in a statement expressed dismay that the strike proceeded despite a restriction order by the National Industrial Court. He accused the unions of trying to blackmail the government and punish a whole country of over 200 million people over a personal matter. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store and Huawei App Gallery. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Welcome back. Let's now join Tamilore Akinkwoliye, who is on standby with business news. Over to you, Tamilore.
Hello and welcome to Business News. In the world of business, weakened economic fundamentals has led the country's persistent inflation to reach a 17-year high of 25.8% in August 2023, which in combination with sluggish growth is leaving millions of Nigerians in poverty. The challenging economic situation of the country has pushed more citizens into debt, as about 219 billion naira was borrowed from banks in 3 months. This is according to a recent economic report for the second quarter of 2023 by the Central Bank of Nigeria. According to the report, consumer credit, which includes personal and retail loans, increased by 12.2% from 2.35 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2023 to 2.64 trillion by quarter 2 of the same year. We'll take a break now and be back with stock market reports. Nigeria's equities market on Tuesday failed to sustain the preceding day's negative close as investors' buy-side activities pushed the market higher by 0.32%, leaving the market cap at 38.9 trillion naira. In aggregate, 121 NGX-listed equities participated in trading, ending on a positive note with 35 gainers against 17 losers. On the winning side, Northern Nigerian Flour Mill led the gainers, closing at 19 naira 80 kobo from the previous 18 naira, followed by Mikio, who closed at 4 naira 70 kobo from 4 naira 31 kobo. At the end of Tuesday's trading session, in 6,533 deals, investors traded 327 million volumes of shares valued at over 336,608 billion. Now, compared with the previous trading day data, today's data shows 31% decline in volume, 57% decline in turnover, and 14% decline in deals. Now, over to our select global stocks. What stocks soared on Tuesday after U.S. inflation data came in cooler than forecast in October? Giving on our select stocks, the UK FTSE at 0.13%, the US Dow Jones at 1.50%, and Japan's Nikkei at 0.05%, giving all our select global stock a positive trading day. And that's all on a business and stock market report. Over to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Tamilare, for that update. Liberians have begun voting to decide whether to hand former football star George Weah a second term as president, despite a controversial record, or to elect political veteran Joseph Boakai, despite his age. The runoff is expected to be close between the rivals, who also faced off in 2017 when Weah won in the second round with more than 61%. In the first round of voting on October 10, Weah and Boakai came roughly neck and neck on more than 43%, with the incumbent taking a 7,126 vote lead. Weah is popular among young people but must defend a controversial record in office, while Boakai is an old hand who has held a multitude of positions in the public and private sectors. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Will Smith is again in the headlines as a former friend and assistant is claiming to start a sexual relationship with fellow actor Dwayne Martin. In a recent YouTube interview with Tasha K, Brother Bilal described an incident when he unexpectedly walked into Dwayne Martin's dressing room while searching for Will Smith. According to Bilal, he opened the room to Dwayne's dressing room, and that was when he saw Dwayne having anal sex with Will. Bilal also commented on Will and Jada's sex life, describing the latter as a size queen. Despite the allegations, neither Smith nor Martin has responded to the claims as of yet. Famous singer Oluwatosin Ajibade, popularly known as Mr. Easy, has said contrary to popular opinion, is married to actress and fashion blogger Temi Otedola. Daughter of billionaire and philanthropist Femi Otedola was not a secret. Mr. Easy, who disclosed it in a recent interview, said the video of his song Legalize was the footage of their wedding in Venice. According to him, their outfits weren't just costumes. He compared it to what painters do, saying whenever you see their work, you see the message they are trying to convey. Since their engagement in 2022, social media users have been anticipating an extravagant wedding, but it seems the couples opted for a private one out of the prying eyes of the media. And that's all on the entertainment segment of News Now. Okpeyemi Owoshini, TV360 News.
Finally, on sports, Bendel Insurance goalkeeper Amas Obasoge has been called up to replace Udinese goalkeeper Maduka Okoye in the Super Eagles squad for the upcoming FIFA World Cup qualifying matches against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. Okoye pulled out on Monday, while Obasoge is expected to storm the Super Eagles camp on Tuesday. The Super Eagles will face Lesotho on November 16 at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, Uyo, before traveling to face Zimbabwe for their second match on November 19. Well, that's all on News Now. Many thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.